Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to another episode of my weekly playlist series. It's Friday again, which means time for me to share with you guys the games I've been playing during the week. Of course, I'll let you guys know my thoughts and opinion on these games, whether I think you guys should check them out or not. I'd like to hear about the games you guys are playing as well, as that gives me great ideas and new games to check out, and it's really awesome hearing each week about the different games you guys have been checking out. I also do appreciate anybody who has any suggestions for me, as you guys have suggested some really good titles to me over the course of me doing this series over the past 2 years, and I have a nice growing list of games to check out thanks to your guys' recommendations. So if you guys have any recommendations on games you think I should try out, let me know, because I do like to play games from Atari 2600 all the way up to 8th gen with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So any of those you guys have, keep them coming. Now this week I only have one game to share with you guys, as again I have not been able to get in much gaming, as I have been really busy with work, but I've also been busy with doing shopping for Christmas, getting the house ready for Christmas time, setting up the tree, decorations, that kind of thing. So I have not had a whole lot of time for gaming, but I did squeeze in a few hours this week, and I went back to a title I have not played in like 4 or 5 years. It's a game that I really loved, put a lot of time. Oh, sorry guys, really early here in the morning. It's a game I put in a lot of time into, and it's one that I've had a lot of fun, and I wanted to keep resuming my journey in the game because I've already got over 77 hours in it, so I didn't want to have to start a whole new game over. I'll just continue off from where I was, and we'll get started with that. And that game is Fallout 4, which I absolutely love. This game, it is just awesome. Always loved the Fallout series. I played them back the old Fallout 1 and 2 on the PC, but those were isometric top-down RPGs. Where we first got Fallout 3, and it was just so amazing having a 3D adventure RPG, action RPG that you could run around the world with and interact with characters and stuff. So it was such a huge world, and it was just really cool. And so I've always loved the Fallout series, and I liked Fallout New Vegas. And then I was really excited when Fallout 4 came out, because I did buy the Fallout 4 Pip-Boy edition that came with the big Pip-Boy and this cool steel book, and it was just really awesome. I also bought the DLC season pass for this, so I have all the DLC for Fallout 4 too, which is awesome. And I just really loved Fallout 4. And I know there's some people that kind of did hate on the game a little bit because of Preston Garvey and having to do the building this of the settlements and having to constantly do the settlement missions. And I know people used to joke all the time about how he'd always come up to you and say, "Yo, hey, the another settlement needs your help again," and people got tired of doing that. But I really did enjoy the game, even though that was kind of annoying. I still really enjoyed it because this had stuff that the other previous Fallout games did not have before. Which one of the biggest things, which is really awesome, is that you're actually able to craft and build stuff in the game. Like you could build your own buildings by using different materials, and you can make buildings and stuff like that. You could put up walls and structures like that. You could build turrets, and then when they added the Automatron DLC to the game, you could actually build your own robots in different combinations, because the world is populated with robots and stuff, which is cool, like the Protectrons, and I'm trying to think, the Mr. Gutsies. There was a bunch of different robots in the game, and I always loved those because I've always been fascinated by robots and technology like that. And when I played Fallout 3 and originally played here Fallout 4, you always liked those Protectrons. I thought they were pretty cool. I was like, man, I wish I could have one of those on my own in the game that could follow me around, or I could have at my base or something. And when they added that DLC, you were able to do that for yourself, which was something that was really cool. And I've always liked the lore of the Fallout worlds too, as well, because they always take place, in post-apocalyptic world, 100, 200 years after the world went to shit because of nuclear war and stuff, us fighting the Chinese, and then you living in the wastelands in different areas, where this one is set in Boston. So, it's always, every Fallout game, they always choose a different city for the game to take place in, and you have the different factions stuff that you run into. So that's something that was cool, just having another new city to explore. And it's always interesting to me to go through and see all the ruins, what's left of the cities after they were nuked. Because your main character, which can be a male or a female, you get put into what are called vaults from Vault-Tec, and they have, I think there was like 200 vaults or something, and you're in Vault 111, and you get to find out, why they were putting people in vaults, because the whole point that they're saying publicly is that the people who were lucky that you would go down in the vaults and survive in the vaults while the nuclear war happens, and then so many years later, you'd be able to go back to the surface and people would be able to rebuild civilization and stuff. And of course, that didn't happen. And there's things behind the scenes stuff, especially this have to do with the story about the vaults and stuff. So if you haven't played the Fallout games, I don't really want to ruin the mystery for the story like that, because you guys know I don't like to ruin story for you guys. But it's really cool. If you guys have never checked out Fallout 4, you definitely should check it out, especially if you like open world RPG games, as this game is just filled with hundreds of hours of content, especially now that they've added all the DLC to. You have a Nuka World and Far Harbor. It just got all kinds of places to go to in the world on top of the main story. And there's also multiple endings too, as there's different faction stuff you'll run into that you can side with, so you can actually play the game more than once and experience different endings too, which I think is really awesome. And there's all kinds of plots and twists. I also like that they have the companion system, just like they did in the previous Fallout game, so you actually can become friends with different characters you run into, and as you do missions and stuff for them and with them, if you do things they like, you guys' friendship will build up, and they'll actually open up to you, and you can unlock different perks and stuff. And you have a variety of different companions you can find throughout the wasteland, which is something that I really like too, being able to interact with characters, because they can also carry stuff for you. I really liked the perk system that they have in the game, where you can adjust your character's stats and stuff with strength and intelligence and science, and all of that stuff affects your character in their combat and dialogues with characters. Because if you have like high charisma example, you can charm characters into giving you what you want. Or if you have like a high combat rating, sometimes you can scare enemies, or you can intimidate people into giving you what you want. And you can be a good character, you can be an evil character, you can be kind of a neutral character, because there are different aspects to that in the game. So it's just something I really like. The voice acting is done really well in the game too. They put a lot of thought and a lot of time into making Fallout 4, and it really shows in the game, and it's just a really fun game that I definitely think you guys should check out. You can get it on Xbox One, you can get it on PC, you can get it on PS4. Just really good games that are just full of a lot of content. Like I said, I already got over 77 hours in the game, and I still have a lot of stuff to work on. I like the different factions are in the game, including like the Brotherhood of Steel, where they have the big power armor. So if you got like, there's the power armor helmet on here, which is really cool. Now, the only thing that's a little annoying about Fallout 4 compared to Fallout 3, in that game you could just wear the once you had the training, you could wear the power armor. In this game, the power armor is more like a big suit that your character climbs into, which I think is cool. But you have to use these fusion cores to power them, and they're kind of hard to find around the world. They're kind of like a scarce item, and once they're depleted, they're completely useless, and you have to get another one, because the armor suits will not work without it. Now, you can have your companion get into a power armor suit, and they can actually even run it without the need of a fusion core or anything, because they actually don't use up any of that stuff for you, so which is really cool. They also don't use up stuff that you give them. They could use, like sometimes I gotta remember, right? They can use some health packs, and I'm not sure if you give them ammo they use it, or if their gun just has unlimited ammo. It's been so long, I can't remember all the little details like that. But it's just something that's just was a little annoying, is having the power armor have to have those hard to use fusion cores. And as far as I know, there's no way to recharge them, but there are some people that have found some little glitching things you can do, like sneaking and stealing them from Brotherhood of Steel people. And if you don't get caught, you can steal and stuff and do that. And there's people who have a little tutorial on that. And then there is somebody who did create a mod, because even the console versions allow you to install mods. And I know somebody had created a fusion station recharger, which that looks like be kind of cool, neat to get into. But other than that small little gripe, I really am enjoying the game. And I have multiple save points. I have one that I'm going to save where you get to choose the different factions, and then that way I can play through the story of that faction, then I can reload that save and then go play, I can make a different faction. That way I can see the different endings without having to actually play the game the 5 or 6 ever different times there are, and go through all the same stuff over and over, other than that last whatever sections of the game for. Because I did buy the collector's edition strategy guide for this game, as that's something that's definitely needed if you want to go for, because there are little collectibles in this world. Like there's these little magazines you can find, and they actually give you skill points, which you can then use to make your character stronger, which is cool to have those. They also have bobbleheads that also are little collectibles of the Vault Boys, and if you find all of those, unlocks perks and stuff for you. So the strategy guide is definitely very helpful in this game if you want to go for completion like I do. Of course, you can use online guides, but I just find it easier to have the strategy guide right there in your hand. You don't have to go around on your phone or computer and look up stuff and pause the game while you're going away from your game where you have the strategy guide. You can just have it right in your lap. So that's why I prefer that. But really good game. So if you guys have never played the Fallout games, never got a chance to check them out, I would definitely suggest jumping into Fallout 4. The nice thing is with the Fallout series is you don't have to have played Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas or any of the previous Fallout games, as they're all pretty much independent stories on their own. I mean, there's a general overall like Fallout lore and stuff, but all of the games are pretty much independent of each other, and that's what's really nice. You can jump in anytime to any of the Fallout games without playing the previous ones, and you're not going to be like completely lost. And it's just fun, especially if you enjoy exploring the worlds and just checking out the history, because there are a lot of papers laying around, things you can read on computers and stuff that you can read that gives you information about what happened in the past. Right before the bombs fell, and you can see the different things that happened in the world, and just the craziness that's in the game, which is really, really awesome. And I've had a blast with Fallout 4, and I definitely think you guys should check it out. Normally I do a little recap here, but since I only have one game, I played Fallout 4. Great game. Definitely think you guys should check it out. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts, so if you guys have played Fallout 4. I'd also like to hear about the games you guys have been playing lately, and if you have suggestions on any games you think I should check out, let me know. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. You guys have an amazing day, and Sleepy will see you next time.